Where does deal sourcing stand right now versus back in the recovery? Is it sort of at the stage that you expected?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people would say deal flow in the middle market is down, and we see all the reports associated with that. But, you know, we track a lot of data, and if you go back to Q1 of 2012 and you compare it to Q1 in 2011 and 2010, we've been pretty much stable at about 110, 115 deals in terms of pure deal count. One of the reasons for that is because in the lower middle market, which represents probably, if you go back to the last decade, about half of all deal flow in the middle market is in the lower end, that sub 100 million of enterprise value. And part of the reason for that is you've got smaller EBITDA company businesses. You know, on average, most of our borrowers are probably 6 to 7 million of EBITDA, and the transaction size is relatively small. Probably our average enterprise value is probably 45 to 55 million. So it takes less lenders to get a deal done, probably 1 or 2 folks. So overall, you're somewhat insulated in terms of what's happening in the global capital markets and what's happening overseas. It's not that you're immune at all, but you are a little bit less insulated, if you will, in terms of what's occurring overseas.
And then proprietary deal flow, it's sort of been buzzing about. What are your thoughts on that?
If you just look at the overall U.S. economy, there's like 200,000 family-owned, privately held businesses in the United States. 90% of them are family-owned, over those 200,000, if you will. And so as a result, there's a lot of flow that people can do. You know, a lot of private equity firms have their own cold calling efforts. We see it at our end. There's a lot of folks that are bringing proprietary deals to the table. And so if you're allocating certain capital to do that, there's a fair amount of flow. In fact, I would say about 30% of the deals that we've looked at last year were proprietary in nature. And I would say probably there's 2 or 3 deals right now that we're in the red zone and hopefully to win that are proprietary in nature.